Today, we want to talk about a triplex. It's a short-term bridge loan that we did for a client. They own a triplex in actually the west side of Vancouver and Kitsilano area. So these are high-end homes, where typically I would say the cap rate's pretty low for something like this. Hence, this client likely went to their lender, their tier one bank, and probably couldn't get a high enough leverage. See, how did you meet this client actually in this deal here?
This client was referred by a client of mine, and then he wanted to sell this property, but the market wasn't good, so he couldn't sell, and he has to close another purchase in like about 3 weeks. So what he really needs the high leverage in order to have enough cash to close the purchase yeah.
So tight timeline. And then
High
did go
leverage.
to another broker. He did go to another broker in this deal, I think.
Yeah, he did, but then their rate was pretty high, around 15%.
Right,
So
right.
yeah,
Remember that. Yeah, like the total rate was pretty high. I mean, it is they wanted a quick turnaround too. So
yes,
typically
uh,
these type of
uh,
lenders will charge more
mhm,
on a short turnaround, I find. Yeah.
yeah.
Got it. And then Wing, I think the client also went to their primary lender too for this deal. And I guess the math didn't make sense. The debt service ratio wasn't there, or
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
because
properties were beautiful properties, but they don't generate enough income to get whatever he wanted. He wanted like 65%, but I think in reality, probably only got them like 35%
yeah.
loan to value. So they needed 65 to close on the other property that was coming up in a couple of weeks. So we went high leverage. So obviously most people would usually go straight to private for this one, and that's where you get the total fee is around 15 from the other broker. But we were resourceful. We called around, and we actually found a B lender that was considerably lower and was still able to close on time, and got the loan amount that they wanted. So I think we saved about 4 to 5% or something like that on the rate wise. So the client signed right away. They didn't really argue much on the fees. They knew this was a really good deal out of all the offers he's heard already. So yeah, no, we were able to help him close on time for them. So he was actually very, very happy
And the
about
funny
this
thing,
one.
yeah.
sorry, just to add, and then we were able to get a higher loan amount than the other broker.
Correct. Yeah. So the higher leverage too. So I think the other broker got 60%, I think, if I recall. So okay. So at least, yeah. And then the funny thing about B lenders too is that there's so many variations of B lender, different grades, right? Where the rate range can be a wide range too. So this one here, yeah. I think if anytime you're thinking about buying like a triplex in major cities like Vancouver and Toronto, you're going to get a low cap rate, which translates to a low loan of value typically. If this was like in Alberta or Nova Scotia, then you're going to get a higher leverage just because it makes sense. But the price point, the cap rate, and the rental income, the math didn't work to go to a tier one bank. I know the client tried. They're quite high net worth. They did go to a couple of big banks and couldn't get a high leverage. And because of the short-term loan, I think this solution made the most sense for the client this time around. Anything you guys want to add before we wrap up this deal here?
Nope, you got
No?
it.
Okay.
We're also able to find appraiser that would appraise the house value at a higher price. So we ended up, that's one of the reasons we can get him a higher loan amount.
Yeah, so we had a pretty good relationship with some appraisers and with many appraisers, and so they were able to. I think this appraiser here knew the area very well, is how I want to position it. Is
And a lot of comparables that they were
a
able
lot
to
of
support the
comparables. Yeah.
value.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more experienced.
Yeah, some
Yeah.
appraisers. I mean, all appraisers know how to appraise. So I think sometimes just different comparables and knowing the area a little better, and the adjustments he made it work out, and he saw value in his home. I think he was very careful. He went to the home. He looked at a lot of the finishing and everything, and that adds value too. The premium of this home is actually a very nice triplex.
Yeah.
And so we accounted for that. I think not all triplex are made alike. Sometimes I get that people could be busy and they don't spend the time to look at the property, but this person definitely spent a lot of time looking at property to make sure that it was appraised at a fair market value so that A, it's safe for the lender, and B, it's good for the client, right? So it's a win-win.